Welcome to the MMA Fan Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Stu and Blake.
Oban Elliott, how you doing, mate?
I'm very good, mate. How are you?
Very, very good, thank you. Very good. So how's things going?
Your teeth are looking so perfect. Have you had them fixed up?
You know what? It don't help, Owen, that like he's sitting next to me and I've got these. I look like a row of bombed houses for my teeth, and he's just got them pearly whites.
we got teeth like Stonehenge compared to him.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant, they are.
They are my teeth, but they've had a bit of work done. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, they've had a yeah, of course, mate. Nah, lovely, fair play.
Yeah. No, the thing that people usually notice when they're looking at me and Stu is the complete difference in skin tone, because he's looking like Charles Oliveira these days, and I look like some kind of undead corpse.
So tan. How is it? What's your secrets? Do you in the sunbeds? Do you know what?
I've never had a sunbed in my life, and no, never. I went on holiday to Corsica, and it was proper up there. And I do tan pretty quickly. And it don't help coming from Essex. And then when you got a suntan, people just like, yeah, sunbed all day long.
Yeah, he's had sunbed.
I was expecting I was expecting like a bit of Saint-Tropez in a bottle or something like that from Stu. That's what I was thinking.
I don't have Saint-Tropez. What have I used before? I've used like the creams. And I've gone on a little sunbed.
You got to look good with your shirt off, though, haven't you? That's the
exactly.
Thing.
Yeah,
you got to look the part when you step in the octagon.
Full body shave. I get the tan. I get it all. I get all that. Yeah.
Well, look, we're here talking to you today, particularly about your upcoming fight against Kite Brito on the Dana White Contender Series. I believe that's the 22nd of August.
Yeah.
And what I'd love to know is just how it came about. When did you find out you were getting this opportunity to fight in a Contender Series?
I say negotiating. I wasn't really it's not negotiating, is it? It's like I was going back and forth with Cage Warriors after I beat James Sheehan about what I was gonna do next. And I'm not slagging them off, but they get a bit too busy for their own good sometimes. So like we were waiting for a bout agreement. We were waiting for an opponent. It kept getting swapped. And we were like, well, what's going on? We still don't know. And I was meant to fight on that Cardiff card in July. Yeah, that happened. I was waiting for my opponent for July, and it was like 4 or 5 weeks before this, maybe 6. So we were still waiting. It was plenty of time, but we still hadn't had a bout agreement. And then they come up with me with a guy, and they said, once we get this San Diego show out the way, we'll send you the contracts over for him. And we were like, all right, whatever. It's taking ages, but we're kind of used to it by now. And then in the time they said they were going to send the bout agreement over, Richard Shaw, you know him?
Yes.
He was just lighting up Sean Shelby's emails every day, trying to get me in the UFC. And he was doing that since I was I was close to fighting Chris Duncan on UFC London.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was.
Would that have been down at lightweight?
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
But I would have.
Because you've flexed your arms. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose, but there's been a lot of you. And I'm like, look at the state of that.
Look at that.
I don't know if that's making lightweight anytime soon, is it? Look at it.
I've got 2 of these. I've got 2 of these.
There's the pythons there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, exactly. But no, it was about a time. Where was I? What was I? I think I was similar to what I weighed now after Christmas, because I got this thing at Christmas time. I always get ill. So like, I don't want to go. I'll talk about that after, because I'm definitely going to go off topic. So what happened with the Contender? So we were talking to the UFC. We were talking to Shelby. About getting this Duncan fight. He said, Shaky texted him saying, I've got Oban Elliott 7-2, ready to go at all times. He said, yeah, brilliant. Okay, we'll let you know. And then when Duncan pulled out, I was just hagging him on Twitter and Instagram and all that, getting everybody to share it up. It got, everybody, it was a big buzz about it. And then we spoke because we know Duncan's manager, so we got in touch with him. Brett Johns is managed by the same manager as Duncan. So Brett texted his manager. So his manager was happy. Duncan was happy. I was happy, and my manager was happy. So everything got sent over to the UFC, but the UFC went with that fucking middle-aged toilet cleaner from
Yanal Ashmuz, I think
wherever he was. I'm not slagging him off, but they just plucked some guy out of there, that nobody fucking has ever heard of, kind of thing. So, like, we didn't care. We kind of expected because we had it's kind of getting a bit like boxing now. You get a prospect fight some random guy. It's a bit like that for your first few UFC fights. So I didn't care. Obviously, I fought Xi'an then, and then he was lighting him up. And then in that time where they were going to give me a contract, Cage Warriors were, in that space of time, Shelby replied saying, "We've got the Contender Series cake, pike, burrito, August 22nd. Let me know if he's in." So then we said yes. Then we spoke to Cage Warriors. And they were like, "Oh, fuck, we were just about to send you your bout agreement because if I'm signed into a bout agreement, I can't leave for the UFC. That's what's in the contracts." And they were like, "Oh, fuck." And I was just like, "Well, you were just too late, I guess." And then it was like a mad feeling. But I guess it's normal now,
When you say a mad feeling, what do you mean? Like, what were the emotions when you heard that it was happening?
He had me on. He texted me in the morning, Saturday morning, and said, "Make sure at the gym today. I got a surprise for you." I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then he said, he was like, "It's funny, you'll laugh." I was like, "All right. Was it going to be some bullshit?" Fucking, I thought, and I guess, is it fake tan? Because I'm always tanned. And he said, "It's close." So I was like, "Mate," and he said, "No excuses. Make sure you're there." I was like, I literally I was really busy that morning. I got up at like 5 a.m. driving for my brother. And then I was like, I'm going to have to fucking make it. So I made it. I was on a run when he texted me this as well. I was just going to do the run. And I got up to the gym and then he showed me the email of Sean Shelby. I just burst into tears. I was just like, oh my God, it's happened. It's happened. I couldn't believe it. I still kind of can't believe it. But obviously it's normal now that when I'm this close to the fight, I don't actually care about the stage or the occasion. I don't care about the UFC. Don't care about the Contender Series. I'm just thinking about like a cage fight, which I've done nearly 20 times across amateur and professional. So the emotions back then were so like, I was so happy. It was like the best day of my life. It was like a dream come true. But now, 11 days out, it's just business again. Yeah. Mad.
And you mentioned Cage Warriors as well. I just wanted to know, was there any chance that was going to be for like a vacant belt? Because obviously Reece McKee has left now as well. He's signed for the UFC. It wasn't, because I kind of felt 4-fight win streak you've been on. I know it's been across a couple of different weight classes and stuff, but I was thinking surely Oban's fighting for a belt.
Yeah, but I text Reece McKee myself and said, "What's happening, mate? Are you getting signed or what? Because I need to know if I'm fighting for a vacant title in Cardiff." And he said, "I'm still not signed. I'm not going to be fighting in Cardiff, obviously." And I said, "Yeah, I can't expect you to fight me in Cardiff. So when are you fighting?" And he said, "I'm probably going to try and get on like July 22nd. I was like, "Oh, fuck. Well, I'm fucking fighting in Cardiff now. They've kind of built a card around me now." So I was like, because everybody thought Reece was going to get signed straight away when he beat Jimmy Warley, but obviously it took a while. Yeah. So I actually accepted a fight against a middleweight moving down that Christian Duncan just knocked out with that spinning elbow. But it was him. And I was like, "Oh, can't you just pull out a bum from nowhere like you do for everyone else?" I got to fight him, risk my title shot against him. I was just like, whatever it takes. And then when Shelby got in touch, we were like, landed. So kind of missed all of that out, because I could have fought in that July card, but like I could have broke my hands, or I could have hurt I could have got a cut, and the medical suspensions are so strict. It was just would have been absolutely ridiculous for me to fight in Cardiff for the sake of for one more win when the only reason I was doing that fight was to get a call up anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and now you've got time to prepare for your fight.
And I've had like the most professional, like, I've been like a soldier for 12 weeks now. It's nuts. Training for this, you know. I've had a full camp, proper camp for the same guy for 12 weeks. And I can't remember, I don't think I've ever had that. I've always had pull-out, swaps, changes, last minute this, weight changes, this, that. I've had 12 weeks thinking about the same guy. Oh, I had it for Xi'an last time, sorry. But now I've had it again. So, yeah.
And in that time, from what we see on your socials, you went out to the States and had a little wander around the Octagon. How was that? Tell us about that experience.
That was mad. That was. Oh, I can't put it. You know, when you think of something for so long, you know, when you've got this plan in your head for so long, and then like, it almost feels like it's always going to be a plan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it's like in your fields, like if you've ever felt like that, but it's always like the whole time it's like it's been a dream, it's a dream, and then when it happens, it's like you've got to kind of. I was in there and I was like, right, I'm not a fanboy anymore. I'm gonna be fighting in this cage soon, you know. So it's like I was looking at it like, mate, just taking it all in. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't get out of there. I was running around shadowboxing. Didn't literally get out of there.
Is that kind of part of like a sort of like we've spoke to fighters that try and do that sort of visualization of that ring walk and they practice it in their heads and you know, being in a UFC, you know, octagon, you know, where you're going to be fighting, was that, you know, is that something you was doing, visualizing yourself in that moment
for like 15 years? Yeah. So then when I got there, I was like, I'm here now. What? I kind of done it a million times in my head. And like they showed us where we walk out, so I practiced the walkout. And you know, when I was fighting in Cage Warriors as well, like I spend a lot of time in the cage before the fights. I always have done. I want to just be totally familiar with it. That's why I always like walking out in the blue corner, because you get a little bit more time in the cage to just get used to it before you actually fight, you know? So it's just like just familiarize it, just getting real familiar with it, so it's not like alien. You just want to feel like it's your gym.
Yeah.
You want the key to this game is treating these fights as if they're nothing spars.
Yeah.
You know, like, look at McGregor when he fought Alvarez. He could have been anywhere in the world. He could have been in the back garden messing about. He could have been messing about in his kitchen. He was that relaxed, and that's one of the best performances in history where the pressure's on, and he just treated it like it's nothing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like singing when nobody's watching, and then you got to sing in front of a crowd, and you're like, oh, you go a bit shy, you know? Or acting. But there's a perfect, you know, imagine you're really good at acting, and then, fuck, you got a full set.
I have to imagine quite hard, actually, yeah.
But you know what but that's why I said it. No, because of course you know what it's like. Fucking hell, like it's exactly the same as that. Like you're a great actor, but then you get a big role and the camera's rolling, and then there's a guaranteed you've had a part of your head where you're like, oh fuck, here we go, don't fuck this up.
100%, yeah.
It's exactly the same when you're fucking having a cage fight. Like we are fucking training every day of the week. I've done like 35-minute rounds this week, and I've only got to do 3 over there. So like, really, this should be easy if I can treat it like it's nothing. Do you see what I'm saying? So like that, all my mind is constantly wrapping it around is treating this game like it's nothing. The last time I spoke to you boys, was it the last time, or did we speak in between? Remember when I was in the school?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the first time we had you on. That is a great episode, by the way. I love that.
But the first time I had you on, right, I'll tell you now the difference on what I've learned from that. I'm on this podcast. I've got this big fight with Flaminas. I've no in the back burner. I've got UFC London or the Contender Series coming up. It was a massive thing, massive deal. Like, fuck, this is huge, biggest moment of my life, biggest fight of my life. And look how badly I fucking fought. And every fight since, I've been telling myself, all I got to do is treat this like it's a little spar, like it's nothing, and I can't lose. and I literally haven't lost the exchange since. Because I go into these fights now thinking this is just a little mess around, little spar. This is nothing. Do you know what I mean? So like when I was over there in that UFC headquarters, I was just like, this is nothing. This is nothing. This is nothing. This is like that's all I've been training my mind to think. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's mad. When you get to this level, you kind of realize how they're performing at the level they are, because like, what was Canelo boxing? What was he boxing in that 80,000 seat in Mexico Stadium the other week? Well,
I don't
Canelo,
follow
all the
boxing
great
enough.
fighters, all the great fighters, they're going out into these arenas full of thousands of people, but the reason they're fighting so well is because they're treating it like it's a spar in the gym. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where my head's at. That's where my head's at with it all. That's where it's got to be.
We're both big fans of the Hardwick brothers. And we saw that when you was out there, you bumped into George, and did you chat about like the enormity of the opportunities that you're both about to undertake?
Yeah, and he's another one where he's really good at playing it down. He's real good at playing it down and being relaxed about it. So like that, yeah, he's I take inspiration from him. I haven't really told him that, but I see the way he's like. He just like, I don't know, he's kind of not even there sometimes. He's just like talking about some bullshit about like PS2 or any, do you know what I mean? Fucking, and I'm there like, yeah, fair enough. That's his thing. He's just having fun, isn't he? He's not taking it too serious.
Yeah,
it's a serious game, but
Yeah, I mean, when he was on, he basically was saying that, because from our perspective, we thought he should have been signed automatically. Cage Warriors champ with 2 title defenses. But the way he said it is he went to his coach and he was like, oh, they've offered me the Contender Series. And the guy was like, well, what's the difference? You go, you have a fight, you're in the UFC. It's like, it makes no difference to making your debut. It's a fight. You're going to win. You're in the UFC.
Exactly.
Are you seeing it the same way? And is there any pride that you take from the fact that you haven't become a Cage Warriors champion yet, and the UFC are already on you and going, we want to give this guy the same opportunity we're giving a guy who, as we just said, has defended the belt 2 times. Do you take a lot of pride in that?
I take it's a big compliment. Yeah, it makes me think like, fuck, I'm doing something right. Like it's made me realize like I'm doing something right, and like of course I wanted it when I was like. I got no interest in going back to Cage Warriors. That's not even an option at this point. Because, like, as you just said, what is the difference between being a signed UFC fighter or going for the Contender Series? Who's going to go into the UFC and think, it doesn't matter if I lose this because I'll get another go? Everybody's going to want to win their fucking first UFC fight in the best possible, most devastating fashion they possibly can. And, so how this is no different. And I guess, like, when I've seen like everyone going, George should have just got signed and that, and nobody's obviously saying that about me. A lot of people are probably thinking like, how the fuck has he got on there? But the one opinion matters. There's only a couple of opinions in MMA when it comes to how fighters are rated that are important, and Sean Shelby is one of them guys whose opinion matters, and he's the one who's lit the email box up and said, we want to give this guy a chance. So I do, but you get some clueless fool in this MMA game. There's loads of them saying, what's this? You haven't even done this. You haven't even done that. But Shelby thinks so. So,
yep.
Yeah. And perhaps I don't even know how it works. Maybe Dana says, give him a chance. But them boys in the UFC office are giving me a chance. So that's a massive, massive compliment in itself. It's a massive achievement in itself. So it's a lifetime tick the box already, And
in regards to that, the opportunity to do this and to fight in the biggest, mixed martial arts organisation. Has there been, have you sort of managed to sort of pull on the experience of Brett and of Jack and obviously Richard, and to get some sort of more insight into what it's like to fight in that organisation?
Yeah, and what because they've backed me for years, right? But I can't. Obviously, I had a couple of slip ups record, I lost 2 fights out of 10, like, and one of them should have never have even got to the cage. So I had one fight, real loss, where I've totally underperformed out of 10 fights, and it's like, I've been trying to think, what is the difference? What is the difference about getting to that level? And the difference is, I alluded to it earlier, that you got to just go in there and treat it like a spar.
Yeah.
Like, someone walks in my gym, yeah, they're never gonna walk out thinking, I smoked Oban today. They're gonna walk out, they're probably not gonna come back. So I mean, I have that a lot. But in the octagon, it's like, I've been thinking to myself, even the fights I've won, I was like, I could have done better then. What was the difference? And I was treating the fights like they were these massive things, because I guess they are massive things. But the way the best treat it is to treat it like it's fuck all. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, from what I've gathered and the conversation, the advice I've had, and you got like boys who I'm training with who've fought at the highest level so many times. Of course, there's pressure there, but it's how you deal with that pressure, and it's how you like manage the occasion. You can't let the occasion get the better of you, and and that's what. If I can put an analogy down, it's like, say you're of course, like with you, Blake, you're a great actor. I'm not trying to leave you out, Stu, but I'm just trying to just fucking put like a little like that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
fuck Stu, fucking. No one gives you. Like, say what you were saying about me being a great actor again. Keep that going. Say that again. Yeah.
Great actor, you get a role, you fuck the role up, and then the director's like, who's this guy?
Tell me more about Blake fucking this up, please.
No. But I mean, like, and then you could probably go away and think, like, why did I practice that so well in my fucking room, reading my lines out? Why did I practice that, all of that, so well? And then as soon as that fucking director's there and they got that thing where they smack it together, I'm fucking it up. That's because you probably that it goes to all walks of life.
Yep.
Like, you gotta manage that situation and try and treat it like it's nothing. And that's what I've learned and what I've gathered from the boys in my gym and the friends I've got in this game who are moving on with it. That's what I've kind of got from it. Like, do you agree?
I think you're exactly right. I 100% agree. I've been in that situation, like, where if I was doing a job that was just like a regular TV job, I would have been fine. But because I was working on a film with some people that I thought were really great actors, I'm like, oh shit, I'm working with like a Catherine Zeta-Jones or a Michael Gambon or someone like that. So then you get in your head a bit more, and you're like, oh no.
Now imagine I go, oh fuck, I'm fighting in front of Dana White.
Exactly, yeah.
I've almost got to think, who's that bald guy in the fucking crowd?
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's it. I think that mindset, as long as you're, as I'm sure you absolutely are, you said you've had 12 weeks or whatever to really prep for this fight. As long as you're doing all the preparation, the fight itself needs to be the easy part, right? That needs to be the part where you go prep hard, fight easy, all that kind of stuff. And we've spoken about the mental aspect of how you're going to approach this fight. I wanted to ask you something, because there's something you said in a previous interview that I heard a little while ago about working on the railway lines. You still working on that job?
Working right, mate. I got all my oranges in the back.
Yeah. What? So, and it did. I think, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Did you say something about it might be helping you physically, because it's quite manual labor? It's very physical. Yeah. It's almost like you're getting extra reps in of whatever it might be. Can you tell us about the job and how it's going?
Yeah, so it's like I come on for like financial reasons, obviously, because it's good money, and I feel like it's kind of took the pressure off my fighting career in a way, because I'm there, like, I'll be there training twice a day, but like in the last, I'll go from, I'll answer your question and then I'll tell you how I've been treated in the last couple of weeks. So it's basically like training twice a day, and then I'll be going on a night shift with all the boys, and all the boys, my gang are like supportive. But I'll graft, you know what I mean? You're on the fucking shovel, you're on the bar, crowbar, you're lifting heavy shit, you're bumping up, you're on your feet for fucking nearly 10 hours. You're watching the sun come up. You're on night shifts, like digging like 1.2 square holes in the ground after I've trained in the morning, then I dig in on a fucking shovel all day in my basically top off sweating, and then I'm going training again, or I've like trained twice and then I'm going on to a shift and I'm digging all night, sweating, shoveling these really hard rocks. It's called ballast. That's what the track's made up of. I'll be like carrying stuff, just like a manual graft job. And it's like most of the boys on the rails, they like, that's their workout. Then they go for a couple of pints after the shift because they know they've got to do it all again tomorrow. And I'm doing these shifts and going fucking training. And I just feel like it's kind of mentally, as much as physically, but mentally, it's made me think, what the fuck is this Brazilian doing? He's not doing this.
Yeah.
He's got to deal with like a I'd be hard with if I didn't train. I'd be a fucking nightmare if I didn't train. So you're dealing with like this, like kind of like I always just think of fucking Brock Lesnar. You know, when he was working on that farm and it made him strong, like it. And I've always had like I only had that job in the school to come off of building sites because I thought it would help my training. And then I worked in Nando's, so I thought I better not go on a building site because it kind of fucks my training up. And then I couldn't turn the money down with this job. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it fucking work. If I've got to sleep less, if I've got to just have no life and I'm just train, eat, fucking work all night, get a little bit of sleep, repeat every day.
How much sleep are you getting?
Oh, mate, fucking out at times, like 4 hours, if I'm lucky, like 4 or 5.
And you're able to train on that? Because a lot of people are talking about sleep now and how important it is.
I haven't got a choice, mate. I want to fucking get there, so I'm not letting a little railway shift be getting away. Like, I'm there, like alarm goes off, my eyes are dry, and I'm like, fuck, dude, go train. Then I go train again, then I'll finish training, and then I'm literally putting my fucking oranges on in the gym, and then go straight to work, and then I'm just counting down the seconds where I can go home. Now I get that little bit of sleep, and I do it again. But in the last couple of weeks, don't get me wrong, they've looked after me. The site managers have, the boys have. They've all seen my fucking, and my resourcer in the office has trying to put me on cushtier shifts. So I'm only driving a minibus, or I'm only doing it like 2 shifts that week, and I'm taking holiday pay just to take the slack off a bit, you know, just put the slack on. And then like the site manager, I'll tell you fucking straight, I don't even care if they see, like the site managers are literally saying, right, I'll book you in this week, go and fucking get your head down, mate. I can't be seeing you fucking falling asleep. I'll be lying on the fucking track there like that when you're waiting for a machine, you've all got to stand back. I lie on a little bit of fucking troughing, a little bit of concrete, and I'll be dozing off. I'm that fucked, like, you know? Yeah. So the site manager's like, look, mate, you got this once in a lifetime fucking fight. Fuck off. You do the same. You be booking boys in if they had this opportunity. So you do the same. Yeah. Go in the van there, get in the van and watch the gate and just get your fucking head down. No one's gonna. And if anyone's got a problem with it, I'll fuck them off like myself. That's what these men are saying. That's this kind of support I've had lately. It's mind blowing. Isn't that good, boys? Yeah. Isn't that good?
Man. That's amazing, mate.
So when I think about this fight, I'm like, I gotta live like this. I've got to live like this, and I'm like, a really talented fighter anyway, but I'm living like this and I'm training like this, and it's all going to culminate into this one fight where I'm locked in there with just one man, and you're going to tell me that he's going to stop me getting this fucking contract? He's going to have to be like Superman. Do you know what I mean?
What?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it is, mate. I don't know, I've just become a bit of a different breed lately. I hate to say it, you know, it's a bit of a I don't know, big-headed thing to say, but that's just the facts. This is a bit of a mad life I've had to live and uphold. And now I'm only 11 days away, and it's all going to pay off. I know it is, mate. They're telling me 6 weeks ago, it'll pay off. And you're like, oh my God, this is 6 more fucking weeks. Oh my God, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, get, you know, try not to complain either. So I used to complain a lot. And then I'm like, boys complain. You know, I kind of like, you know, like Francis Ngannou. I've been thinking, like, when I'm on the shovel, like, he was on the sand dunes shoveling sand. So when I'm in there on the shovel, I could be like, oh, I'm rep, boys, I'm in training. But the boys they can't get me out of the hole. because you put like 3 or 4 man to a hole, but I want to be in the hole digging. I'm like, this is more reps, mate. I'm thinking about this guy when I'm digging rock hard dirt at 1 or 2 in the morning in the pissing down rain. I'm thinking about him. Thinking about the money that I'm going to earn in the UFC. I'm thinking, this ain't going to be fucking long. I'll get all fucking teary up, man.
Mate,
yeah,
incredible.
Well, it's because you've worked
of sacrifice, mate, and it will come good.
You've put in so much effort and time into this.
Crying in all these fucking interviews lately.
But do you know what? For us, all it does is it shows how much it means to you and how much you're putting into it. And I think for us and for anyone watching or listening to this, hearing you talk with such passion and get a bit emotional about it, I think that just draws them more onto your side. I think it's just making them go, you know, a lot of people don't watch the Contender Series. I think they'll try and tune in for you. And I think even if it's, you know, that late night, they'll get up in the morning and go, how did Oban get on?
The Wednesday off. They're going to go all fucking on the sesh the Tuesday and what they put the Wednesday off. But, you know, like, and I think about that. And then I think about the kind of the life I've had and being skint and all that. And the plan, I've always had this plan where if I've had to have this skint kind of upbringing, imagine I could make the second half of my life where I'm filthy rich and I'm buying my fucking mother just like houses and that. Like that's always been my. And you know, when I'm in the fucking hole, I'm like, I'm not on bad money when I'm digging the hole, so it's not at the end of the world. But like, I'm thinking like, fuck you every time. Do you know? I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Just,
I think you're explaining it really well. I think people
good.
can like, as much as, you know, they may not be able to exactly relate. I think people can understand where you're coming from.
I feel like I've gone a bit insane and I like it.
I love it.
I think that's kind of how I feel. So I know I kind of went off on one there, but that's
no, never apologize for that, mate. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to get, and we want people to be supporting you and becoming big Oban Elliott fans. Absolutely. We've had you for longer than I thought we would, but before we let you go, we have to ask you a little bit about the specifics of the fight itself. Kike Brito is the guy that you're up against. He looks like he's more of a striker. I believe he's the Octagon welterweight champion, but you know, I think he's lost 2 out of his last 5. You've won 4 of your last 5. So how do you think you match up with him? And do you think, like, from the outside looking in, from the layman that I am, the sort of couch coach pundit, whatever you want to call it,
you boys have. From a fighter's perspective, you boys are very respected. There's people who text you for interviews that you just fucking chuck them in your requests. But obviously, you boys are respected boys on this. We want to talk to you boys.
Well, we genuinely, that means a lot to us, and we really appreciate
Trust me,
that.
out of all the clowns you get messaging, and you're like, oh, mate, fuck off. You were calling me your favourite fighter the other day, and then you had my opponent on the week after calling him your favourite fighter. Fuck off.
Yeah,
but as you were saying about, go on.
No,
sorry.
well, it looks like, it feels like you obviously, it seemed like very good with your hands, but recently your wrestling has been really, really integral to some of your victories, it seems. And it looks on paper like it's sort of, I don't want to say striker versus wrestler or striker versus grappler, because I know you've got good hands, but a lot of people looking at it would go, well, the easiest route to victory for Oban, I suppose I should say, would be to go to the wrestling. And this guy's probably going to be looking to keep it on the feet and land in something heavy. How do you see the fight going? And where do you think you succeed where he fails?
Well, I've got some of the best coaches around, and my striking coaches, I've never filled anybody full of shit ever. But my striking coaches, I've sat there and watched him, and they say, how the fuck is this guy going to live with you on the feet? And then my grappling and my MMA and all of my coaches are saying, and how on earth is he going to deal with you if you grab a hold of him? So he's going to be he's this octagon. Dana put it right in this interview I watched the other day after the first episode. He said he doesn't care what he's done to get you to get here. You've got your foot in the door, and it's about what you do on the night. And I just think, like, if he's gonna I'll have an answer for whatever he tries doing. And look, if he sparks me out and I'm laying there and I'm waking up, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not actually gonna care because it'll have to be a good punch he lands. Do you know what I mean? And he's got to be good to beat me. So without sounding kind of in over my head, right? I think I'm gonna fucking smoke him everywhere. If he wants to stand on the feet, mate, he's gonna have to be good, mate. I'm gonna be I can go for days. I'm gonna be pinging him, schooling him, throws a punch, where's it gone? Bang, I've won back, kind of thing. And if he's gonna try and wrestle, he's gonna have to be shot. But he's just gonna have to be unbelievable on the night to beat me, because you could chuck anyone in there now and I'll fucking go through them like a hot knife through butter. That's how I feel about this matchup. I can't actually give you a technical breakdown of it, really. I'm just that's my head is on just destroying him. That's all I can really say about it, honestly.
Mate, you have just hyped me up for this fight.
Yeah.
Why now, mate? I'll tell you. Oban, honestly, mate, from the very first time you come on this podcast, when we finished that chat the first time, Blake and I both said that's one of the best chats we've ever had with a fighter. And you've been so supportive of this podcast since we launched it. And honestly, mate, we can't wish you any more luck. Just go for it and seize that opportunity. And we can't wait to see you have a
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, boys. And look, if it doesn't come to pass, right, and this guy this guy smokes me, I'm there to be, kill or be killed. And if it doesn't come to pass and he beats me fair and square and I fail, I'll be back and I'll be fucking back knocking his door again. So whatever happens, it's kind of in God's hands now, But yeah. If I'm gonna be honest and really sensible about how I look at this, I can't lose, and I can't not get signed either. This can't. It's just kind of, how is this gonna happen? Maybe if there was two of him,
yeah,
then fair enough. But yeah, this is not an act. This is me, and you know this by now, boys. Thank you so much for giving me airtime and a spotlight and that, and the support. I hope I do it. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but I'm pretty damn.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm damn certain I am.
Well, we'll be rooting for you, mate, and I hope everyone listening to this podcast or watching this on YouTube is going to be rooting for you as well. So it's the 22nd of August against Kite Brito on the Dana White Contender Series. Fingers crossed, there'll be another Welshman with a UFC signed contract at the end of that night. We cannot wait to see you perform, mate. Always, as always, massive fans of yours, whether it be Cage Warriors, so UFC, Contender Series, whatever it is, we'll always have you on. We're big fans. Oban Elliott, thank you so much, mate.
Thank you so much, boys. Thank you.
Cheers, brother.
Don't go anywhere, man.